I mean, you can count on Max and even the true freshman John Barnes getting in there, Deaver and all running backs. There's just so many weapons that we have. I have complete faith and trust in all of them. So, but Jameson's definitely a special player.
Obviously, you've taken on that role to step in when you've been asked to. You had a little bit more regular work to do that. So coming into this one, you've probably been asked this, but again, you know, what was your mindset? And looked good. You know, you had some rough patches to start, but then how'd you get settled? And what'd you do to get to that point?
Well, going in, I mean, you always have to stay mentally in the game, whether it's first quarter or second quarter. Even in the last 2 games against Virginia Tech, you have to stay mentally in the game because you never know when you're going to go in. And so you don't want to just get out there and then try to figure out what the defense is doing, because that's usually what happens on the first drive. You kind of get a feel for what the defense is doing, what their blitz of the day is, what kind of coverage they're doing, going to and what downs and stuff. So if you're out of the game for so long and then you get put in the game in the third quarter like I did, then you can be kind of out of it. But Coach Roper does a great job with us, keeping us mentally in the game throughout the game. So I went into the game like as if I had already been playing in the game. And the offense, we just couldn't find a groove all day, and we'll have to look at the film to see what we can fix to get our offense running smoother than it has been the past couple weeks.
What happened on that fumble? Did we just punch it out? Didn't Sam or
you know, what happened? It was there was just me and the safety, obviously, and I tried to make a move, and I'm not the best at making moves. It didn't really work. So I went to go stiff arm, but I had the ball in the left hand, so I switched it over to the right hand, and whenever I was switching it, that's when he tackled me on impact. So I just got to be smarter with the ball and just know that I don't have to score a touchdown on every single play. It's okay to just get tackled whenever protect the ball, so I just need to keep the ball in my left hand and maybe just lower my shoulder on it and get 2 more yards rather than turning the ball over.
And Brandon, you got a little bit of playing time in the first half, and then you started from the third quarter on. How much of a challenge is it to start from halftime?
You're right, it can be difficult, but luckily the way that we're coached by Coach Roper, Coach Cutcliffe, we're taught to be mentally in the game throughout the entire game, whether you're in or not. You could ask Parker Bain throughout the game if he was mentally ready and if he was watching. I mean, there's a lot of times where we're on the sideline and he'll be asking me what the play is, and then right afterwards I'll ask what the coverage was, who stopped the play, stuff like that. So all the quarterbacks are staying mentally in the game, whether it's me, Boone, Parker, Thomas Sirk, Rob, Collins. I mean, everyone's staying in the game, so that's not the biggest thing. It's just physically being in the game is probably the biggest thing.
And what were you able to do on that last scoring drive offensively to get the offense going, basically?
Our offensive line did a great job. We were able to run the ball. A lot of teams, whenever they get down they're down in the fourth quarter with about 4 minutes left, 5 minutes left, they want to throw the ball. And luckily, we're confident enough in our running game and our running backs to be able to run the ball and run the ball effectively. We had a couple big runs by Juwan that really got us down the field. And then also you have to be able to throw the ball. And Jameson was able to make a couple plays for us. We were able to get the ball out of our hands quick to John L. as well, who made a couple hitch plays and turned it into 12 yards. And so there's just a lot of different areas of players playing well that allowed us to move the ball down the field.
And then one of those players, obviously, Devon Evers. Just talk about his efforts.
If he's not on SportsCenter Top 10 tomorrow, I need to get the number for SportsCenter and have a talk with somebody. But I mean, it's such a great effort on his part individually. I guess we've had a corner before get 2 interceptions for touchdowns on back-to-back drives, but I don't think he had a kick return as well. So that's something really special.
Is it easier to step into a game like this after started a couple of games early in the season?
It's definitely easier just knowing. I mean, I've been there before. My teammates are confident in me because I have started those games earlier in the season, and I was able to step in halfway through the Memphis game and just kind of. Things just kind of worked for us, and so that's never a problem. And I guess, to answer your question, it did help.
What's it like throughout the game for you? Are you communicating with the coaching staff as Anthony's kind of struggling out there, or how does that work?
It's mainly communication between me, Anthony Boone, Thomas Sirk, Parker Bain. Because we always know what plays running on the field, and so after the play, me and Parker and Sirk will talk about what coverage it was, what happened, and then also our offensive GA, Matt Sims, we're able to talk with him as well about what's going on, what he's saying. So we're all staying in the game mentally, even whenever we're not in the game.
So what was your reaction when I'm assuming Coach Cutcliffe told you were going in the game?
It's just one of the, I mean, it's kind of the same thing as Memphis. You're mentally in the game, so now you just have to get yourself mentally prepared to go into the game. So it's just you have to be able to just flip that switch and get in the game and get the offense moving.
Were you surprised when he said you're going in?
You know, I wouldn't say surprised, but I wouldn't say I wasn't surprised at the same time. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that happened, and that I think it was more. It wasn't necessarily because Anthony was just playing very poorly. It was just kind of a switch up to try to get the offense, maybe a kick start to the offense. And initially, I mean, a lot of credit has to go to State because they were playing well the entire game. I mean, you saw even whenever I first went in, there was the initial spark, but I turned the ball over, and after that, State kind of settled down and kind of stopped the QB runs, and so they kind of stopped it too, and luckily we were able to get a drive towards the end. Was
there anything in particular that changed as you settled in that let you guys go on that long drive?
You know what, the only thing that changed is that we started executing. Just throughout every single drive of the game, whether Anthony was in or whether I was in, it was somebody was just making a mental error, whether it was the quarterback, the offensive lineman missing a block, or a receiver dropping a pass or something. And so we just need to become more consistent every single play.
Thanks, Brandon.
Do you guys even think about the 2006 Demon Deacons and them going to the ACC championship game?
We're focused. We were focused on State before this game, and now we're going to switch our focus over to Miami. We're not looking any further past that.
Okay, so no thought at all.
We're playing Miami.
Got it.
Did it seem like the cold weather might have had an effect on some of the receivers catching?
I couldn't tell. I couldn't comment on what happened with the receivers. You have to ask them. So yeah, I don't know.
Thank you.